Recently, at the Santa Cruz Bridge Unit, we had need for a half table. We had 9.5 tables. So we use a robot table containing two robots to complete the half table to allow us to avoid a 20-minute sit-out. This video will describe how to set up a robot table and how to run it during the game. The director in charge will probably be the person running the robot table. The robot table will contain two PCs, two computing devices, and you need a third one for the host. These computers can be either a PC or it can be a Mac or it can be an iPad. Also, you can use a smartphone that can run BBO. But the host computer must be a Windows-based PC or a Mac. There's additional functions in BBO that the host computer needs to do, and they are not available on an iPad. Once you have set up the computers, you'll want to get unique BBO accounts for the three players. I use for the robot table the three BBO names SCBC West, East, and Host. They must be unique to BBO. The host controls the game. It sets up the table. It reserves the seats for the two players and for the robots. It invites the players when they're online and the game's about ready to start. The host will also install the robots in the north-south position. The final duty of the host is to deliver the hands one at a time for the players. So in essence, about every 7 minutes, the host needs to deliver another hand to the table for the players to play. The players' responsibilities are, of course, to play the hand and to use the bridge mate to record the results of the hand. The ACBL score and bridge mate, and ACBL score does not directly tie into BBO, so it does not know the results of what happened. So you need to use the bridge mates to complete the results. The host computer also needs to have a BBO account that has some money in it, because when you select a robot, it costs $1 for the advanced robots per day. If you use the elementary robots, which I do not suggest, it's $1 per week. So use the advanced one and pay the $1 fee to get the robot. It will ask you the first time you try to install a robot onto the table. If this is your first time in trying to set up a robot table, I suggest that you practice it several times before the game day, because you want to make sure that you can do it correctly without any problems. So this next couple slides will show you what it takes to set up a robot table and play it, but we'll do it with random hands, and then later on in the tutorial we'll actually deliver the hands that we want to play. So prior to the actual game hands, we'll try set up the robot table. We'll obtain 3 computing devices. As I mentioned, it could be Macs or PCs or iPads. Once you have the 3 devices, you'll log in to the appropriate accounts, the East, the West, and the host BBO accounts. So you need to create those accounts. They're free, so that shouldn't be a problem. When you create the table, you go into BBO as the host. The host does everything. You go into the practice menu and to the teaching table. We run our robot tables as teaching tables. As the host of the teaching table, you'll want to make the table invisible to other BBO players. You don't want them to pop in to the east-west positions unannounced, and thus you have to kick them off to bring in your east-west players. So make the table invisible, and they will not see your table, and they won't ask to, they won't jump in to the game. Now, you need to reserve the seatings at the table, and we'll show how to do this. You'll enter the BBO names of the east-west players at the east-west positions. Once you've done that, we'll show how to use the robots for north and south. Of course, I said you need to have an account with some money in it. Usually they ask you for $10 minimum fee, so you can actually run 10 games under the host computer. As soon as the robots are seated, BBO will randomly deal in hand and show it at the table. This is not what you want, so we'll show you how to avoid this and bring in the actual hand that the players will play. During this practice session, you'll have the east-west computers there, and you'll want to play a hand, to bid and play a hand by the east-west players, and you may not have two people involved, so you as director may have to go to each of the competing devices and play the hand one at a time. So I suggest you do this for one hand, just so you can see what east-west players will see at their screen for a robot game. You may want to run this setup several times before the game time, just so that you're very comfortable with setting up a game and running a game. I will now log into BBO and do each of these tasks to show you what it looks like. When you log on to BBO, you'll get a screen like this. I typed in SCBC host and the password, and so I will log in as host at this time. So here we are. Now I'm going to start the table. You go down to the teaching table. It's under practice teaching tables, and you press that, and then you go to this start a teaching table. Do not use a bidding table. We're actually going to be playing the game, so you'll do a teaching table. Now, as I mentioned, you want to select invisible so that the players will not see us. So now you'll type in the two computer accounts, the BBO accounts for East and West. And for our case, it's East and SC West. And then you'll press Start Table. And when I do this, you actually will see the table. It will look like this. No players have been are here. This is reserved for the East and the West players. The robots will come in shortly when we click on robots. So at this point, by the way, you can go to who's online, and you'll see nobody is online that we need. So I will now go to the two computers, SCB East and West, log on so that they will be in the lobby. I have now logged in to East and West on the appropriate computers. Immediately I will see an invite, and the invite says, a seat is reserved for you. Should we take you there? And you'll click yes. Once you have reserved the seating as I described, the two players will be asked to join the table. They will need to click yes within 1 minute. There's a timer for 1 minute. If they don't, they will not come to the table. So let's consider that case. I'm going to have Wes leave the table and then not respond to the invite. So this is what it will look like if the Wes player did not accept the invite within the 1 minute time period. It's still waiting, but we need to send another invite. So what you have to do, you have to go down the table, and you can see that the Wes is open. So you need to type in the Wes player. Again, and then we see this is the only one we have, so we need to put this one in, and then you need to do apply and close. This will send another invite, and you'll hear a click at the Wes station notifying that there's a warning, there's a pop-up menu for it, and you press yes, and now he is there. There are no cards being shown, so I'm going to now request a robot. And this is the window you'll see when you need to pay for a robot. I do one a day because this is the advanced robot. You don't want to use the basic one, which is $1 per week. This $1 will pay for as many robots as you need during the day. If you need 2, it'll supply 2. If you need 3, so on. So we will now ask for a robot, advanced robot. So it has been rented. So we'll now hit robot. He's now sitting at the table. Now we'll do it to the south. Once we get the robots, BBO thinks we're ready to play the game, and he will deliver a random hand to the table. Now, this will confuse the actual players if they were seated at this time. So I usually do this, get the robots in before they sit down, and then I go in and deliver the first hand, which we have not seen yet how to deliver the actual hand, but I will do that before they are seated at the table. And so this is what it looks like when you're about ready to play the hand, and you can actually play it if you go to each of the computing devices and type in the bids and the play. Like I'm now at the east station, and I will click pass on this hand. The robot now bids south. Now I will go to the west station, and I'll double. And then I had to go back to the east station to pretend like there's an actual player there and type in the bids, and so on. So I'm not going to go any further on this demo, but I want to show you how you can practice setting up a table and running a table from host with the and so I think it's fairly easy to do. And so at this point, I'm going to show you how to take the actual game hands and convert them to BBO format. So we'll stop here for a second. As a director, you're well acquainted with the PBN file. This file contains the 36 hands that will be played during your game. BBO does not understand the format of this file, so you need to convert it to a file with a LIN extension on it, and BBO understands this. So we need to convert it from PBN to LIN. So the conversion, you need to get a conversion program that will do it. and we'll describe now the conversion program I particularly use to do this. The program I use is found on the web, and it's at this website. If you forget or this link, this website, you can go into Google search and just search for the words PBN Tulin, and it'll give you many results, but only one or two of them I found to be useful. The one that's easiest for me to use is the search result you obtain at this address here. So you click on this address. You go to this link, and you'll see there's opening screen that will look like this. You can read the message here, and then you press choose file, and it'll go to your PC, and you can now browse for where the file is. I will demonstrate this at this point. Here is the address of the website I like to use. I have it bookmarked so I can always get back to it. So this is the front screen of that website, and basically you just choose the file. So I'm choosing the file here, and it brings up a browse window, and I put my PBN file into the downloads folder just for this tutorial. You'll probably see it in the game file game file directory. But anyway, I'm going to do it in downloads. You double click it, and it now the tool has completed converting it to the lim file. You can see the out file is this. It's stored at their website. You now need to download it to your computer. Unfortunately, when it downloads, it executes the notepad for the file. You don't need this at all. I wish it wouldn't do it, but you just close this thing down, and you go back to Explorer, and you can now see in the downloads directory the lim file. This is a file that's acceptable for BBO. So the conversion tool is now complete, and we can now import this to BBO. This slide shows how to import it. Basically, you go to you're in your account. It has to be the host computer. You're in charge of the robot table. You're in charge of having the hands available to them. So this is how you import it to your account, your lim file. You go to the hands and results screen, as shown here. So this will what it looks like when you go to the screen. We press the button there. Then you will create a folder. This one's already created, but say we're creating another one. You create it, and then you press import to import the game file into that folder. So I will go through a little the actual BBO session to do this. So we're back into BBO, and this was the middle of the hand that we were covering. We will now import the actual game file. So you go to My BBO, and you go to Hands and Results. I'll bring this up, and you can see a folder. Now we're going to create a new one for this demo, and it automatically generates a name that you can use, which is the date and the hour and seconds. This is UK time, so you anyway. I will now create a new folder. I'll name it New Friday Game, and I'll create it. So we have a folder for the game file. Now let's bring in the game file. What you do is you import it. Once it's highlighted, you import it, and then you go to select and choose the file that you want to bring in. It brings up a browse window, and so happens it's I did this earlier today, and it's already located in the downloads directory. It may be somewhere else in your case, so you just need to browse to find where the LIN file has been created. So I now double click on this, and then you press the actual import. We have selected it, here it is, and now we will import it. Message says 36 games were uploaded into BBO in the folder New Friday Game for our host account. So we are done with importing. Let's see if we can see it. So here's the folder again. Now we do show, and here are the 36 hands. Now, as director and host of this robot table, you will have to deliver the 27 hands boards for the game one at a time. So let's see how we do that. Let's say the first board that East West will be playing is 7. So you select 7. You'll see a little screen down here showing the hands for 7. And now you need to do export deal. And under there's one of the options is upload to table. We will use this version there, or this option. You can now see, I'll move this out of the way. You can now see the hands for board 7. You will want to, and to tell the East-West players, if they want to, look at the upper left-hand corner. You'll see the dealer, which is south. You will see who's vulnerable. In this case, all directions are vulnerable. And as host, you will see all 4 hands. The East-West players will only see their particular hand and the dummy when it's appropriate. So you can tell who, since South was dealer and it was a robot, it has already made a bid. So now West is ready to make a bid. You can tell when it's yellow, it's time for that person to make a bid. So I can't do it here, of course. The West player will, at his screen, see the yellow, and he will make a bid with the bidding box. I won't show that, but he will do it. Then the East does it, and so on. So that's how. So the East-West play. They will play this out for bidding and the actual play of the cards. The results will be shown here, down here, when it's done. But you must tell the players, the East-West players, never to look at the results, because they'll see the previous results and basically you'll know what everybody has done on the other hands. So they are required not to press the My Results window. You get back to just who's online, or have nothing. Probably the best is just nothing here. So when they're finished playing the hand, the BBO will tell you what the result was. Then they will enter the result with their bridge mate. At this point, after they finish the hand, they will notify you that they want another board to be played. They need to play 3 boards. So you, as the host, will now deliver board 8. You'll press show, and then export deal, upload to table, and now they have the new hand to be played. And now it's board number 8, nobody's vol. Wes is the dealer. So you'll do this 3 times for the East-West players that are sitting at the table. Now, after they have played the 3 hands, you now need to prepare the table for the next players. So what you do is you need to keep track. The next players will be we'll use 4, 5, and 6, and so you need to prepare the table for them. So you press Show, Export, Upload to the table, and now you could invite the new East-West players to sit down at the seats at the console, and they will see the actual hand that need to be played. So I always deliver the hand prior to the new East-West players coming to the table. So a couple of notes. This is about basically the end of the tutorial, because this is how you deliver the hands and run the game. And after you've done the 27th hand, they will the game's over. And so it's fairly easy to run. A couple things I should mention is typically in a BBO game, you will self-alert a convention, artificial bid. There are no, you don't want to do this. It doesn't make sense to do this in a BBO game, a robot game, because the robots do not understand your alert message. So you don't have to self-alert when you're playing against the robots. I also suggest, to be fair, don't use a special system, bidding system, that the robots do not understand. They understand 2/1, standard American, and many of the common conventions available in those systems. If you're using Bid Club or Precision or some other bidding system that's not close to 2/1, then you probably, when you play the robots, convert your partner and you to a 2/1 or standard American for the 3 boards that you need to play. I think everybody in the club can play standard American or 2/1. So it won't be a difficulty. So this is self-alerts. Now what I do when I start the game, before I start the game, and I realize there's a half table and I need to have a robot table with the players coming into the East-West computers, I ask the players who are sitting East-West, have they played BBO, or do they want to play with robots? If they say no, I'm uncomfortable, I don't know how to do it, I'd rather not, then you need to move those East-West players to North-South at another table. So you ask the North-South players to volunteer to sit East-West in that case. So basically, you'll have East-West players that can play with the BBO robots. One thing I learned the first time I did the game is that the mouse I used on the East-West players was too active. That is, it was too responsive, because these were my computers and I like a real responsive mouse, so I can just flick the mouse, move it slightly, and go across the screen. This was way too active for the players, so you may want to slow down the mouse in order to have the average player be able to move it. If you have an iPad or a Windows 10 computer that allows touchscreen, then you have the people just touch the bid or touch the card to be played. Another thing I'll tell you is, I'll describe to you, is you may want to go to the options menu, go to more options, and then I like the bids to be confirmed and the cards to be confirmed for a robot game. And this allows them to make a mistake when they type in a bid or play a card, and it will ask you to accept the bid. Say okay. There'll be an okay window come up saying, do you really want to make that bid? Do you really want to play that card? So there's a two-step process. When you do this, this prevents people from making a mistake, and it lessens the stress level for the players. If they do make a mistake, and it's a mechanical mistake, the redeal button does work, and it will go back. Oops, I shouldn't have done that as host. At the East-West computer, you'll see a undo button, and you do that. When I press this redeal button as host, it actually brought up another random hand. So let's see what hand did bring up. Board 4. Anyway, so the undo button and the confirm. I also select big cards. You want the screen to show the cards in a large format so that it's easy for them to select. You may want to go with pictures instead of hand diagrams. And so now you actually see pictures of the cards. So it's up to you as host how you want to display the cards at your table and to confirm when they make a bid or play a card. And that's all there is to it. So I think you'll find it to be easy. And this is a fairly long tutorial, but it will only take you a matter of minutes to set up the robot. Once you experience with it, you practice a couple times. It won't take minutes to actually create the table, reserve the East-West seats, and to deliver the cards to the table. So that's the end of my tutorial. And try running a robot table if you feel comfortable, and I think you'll see good results.